Este es un vídeo con un resumen de la intervención en un programa sobre salud mental, en el que se habló de ir más allá de los pensamientos como manera de aumentar nuestra salud mental. To go beyond thoughts may help us to achieve mental health. We present this content with this timeline. First, we'll talk in a very simple way what are the possibilities offered by our body. What is there available for us? What does our body and mind allow us to do? And from this first part will help us to know where are the obstacles that prevents enjoying mental health. Because through learning, through experience, we create neural connections in our brain. So we create like neural programs that influence the way we see the world and we see ourselves. Then we will move to the theme of meditation. Also based on the first part, we will see what is meditation from a physiological point of view. The first thing we will present about the possibilities of our body will help us to give a specific definition of what meditation is. And then finally, we will present solutions that we can reach easily. So we may talk of brain, or we may talk mind, body, nervous system, to refer to the physical sustenance of our existence. So to make it easy, we will talk about brain. And the question is, what does our brain allow us to do? Brain is like our central control room, where many things are integrated and proceed. So we may say like this, what does our brain allow us to do? And we will realize that the possibilities that we really have are, we are able to move muscles, we are able to perceive, think, and guide attention. That's all. These are what our body puts at our disposal. The most important processes that allow us to live, they work themselves. We do nothing. So all the really difficult tasks or complicated tasks are done autonomously by our nervous system. That's important to have in mind. We just move muscle, think, move, perceive, and guide attention. But the most important things to be healthy, they are done in a spontaneous way. For example, just a few days ago, I fell off the bike. So I hurt myself. And the next day, I had bruises. So as the day passed, these bruises started changing colors. So I was admired that how the body was in charge. The body was doing everything to regenerate the tissues. That's really difficult, but the most essential thing, the vital processes, they are done by themselves. We do nothing. And what we do is this. The three first things, think, move muscle, and perceive, you have a very clear experience of them. But what is really important for mental health is attention. We will see how attention is our main freedom. So the most important thing is attention for health, for mental health, how we use attention, how we guide attention, because attention can work autonomously, which means involuntarily. And in that case, we are not aware of how we use attention. Or we may use attention on a voluntary basis. And in that case, we guide our attention. It means we have attention control. And when we have this voluntary use of attention, we discover that attention is one of the main freedoms offered by our nervous system, offered by our body. Because through attention, we can choose the window through which we experience the world. With attention, in a part, we are choosing the elements arriving to our consciousness. So, brain modes, the first three ones, thinking, we will call it thinking mode. So thinking mode are the activity in our cerebral cortex that generate this internal discourse. So when we, and then of course we have perceiving mode, which is all the sensory information that is coming both inside and outside ourselves. It's not only the five senses like sight, ear, but it's always also proprioceptive system, somatosensory system. Inside there are many possibilities to perceive ourselves, but mainly our sense go towards go outside, but we can also enjoy many things inside. And third one is the active mode, which means movement. All the possibilities we have to move our body, movements. And which is important here is that in this simple way, we are separating the possibilities so that we can realize that we can perceive without thinking. We don't need to think to feel. Or we can also move without thinking. When we are swimming, I swim in the water, I don't think, because I already have the motor programs that allow me to swim. I don't have to tell the body how to float, how to move. So the thinking mode does not encompass everything. The thinking mode is not all pervading. That's the main thing we must have clear. And then the brain modes related to attention are the observing mode and the silence mode. So the observing mode allows us to be aware of thoughts, feelings, events. So that means that the observing modes help us to realize that the thinking mode is not the only one. Okay? Because when we are aware of what we are thinking, this consciousness, this awareness is not a part of the thinking mode. So observing mode is not looking, is the voluntary use of attention. It's like looking but through attention. We are using the observing mode when we have a voluntary use of attention so that we decide how to guide attention. And then silence mode, which is a clear awareness of what's happening without making a translation into thinking mode. So about observing mode, this is a mode which is very important for scientists and in general for all the profession related to research, because it helps us to have an honest view, not confused by thoughts. Because we are like witnessing thoughts. Thoughts appear, but we can see if it is related to a real fact, if it is a true reasoning or not, or if it is introducing supposition, for example. So this observation allows us to have this view a scientist needs and other profession also needs. So for example, the famous physician, quantum physicist, Richard Feynman, she used to say, science is a way of trying not to fool ourselves. because with the thinking mode, we will see a little bit more. If we don't observe it, we can fool ourselves very easily. So the brain modes related to attention, the observing mode, and the silence mode. When the observing mode grows, it means we have an easy control of attention so that we can use this freedom to choose what's coming to our consciousness. Then we can guide our attention beyond thoughts. And in that case, we arrive to the experience of silence mode. Silence mode is quite of use nowadays because we are exposed to a lot of information. So this activates our thinking mode, and we are mainly using the thinking mode. And besides, in our lifestyle, in our society, what really this society values, rewards, is only thinking and doing. The rest of things are obviated, are overlooked. Only thinking and acting, so that we feel that anything beyond thinking or doing is not worthy. But this is maybe just because we lack this experience of living using observing mode, perceiving mode, enjoying mode, acting mode, and silence. So we pass to the second part. Where are the problems then? Maybe we can see now that we know which is available for us, thinking, perceiving, acting, observing, or silence. So where are the problems? Where do we place the obstacles that keep us from enjoying mental health? So maybe you think that is the thinking mode, no? So at least the thinking mode allows us to communicate and to talk about it. Let's see a little bit more about how thinking mode works. This is a kind of interface, an interpreter between our cognitive processes and ourselves. So we can say that is composed of all the neural networks that we are creating through learning and experience, and give us capacity of doing different ways of reasoning. So it's like an interpreter that is translated so that we are able to relate to the function of our brain. But also we can see it like an interface between the world and ourselves. It's important also to note that the thinking mode belongs to the last stages of our evolution as human beings. It took place mainly in the front area of our brain. So it means it's a really complex tool. We could say it's a state-of-the-art tool. It's a step in evolution that allows us to take data from the past, work out what we'll be doing next, then make a choice, make a decision, what are we going to do, and then to execute it. So we have this capacity, take from the past, working and looking through, towards future. And animals, they can do this. So this means the tool is important in our evolution. But the thing is that it is so complex that it allows multitude possibilities to be used. We can use it in a functional way, we can say, or in a dysfunctional way. What it means? It means that we can do the inner discourse as we like. We may take fictitious event and do false reasoning about it. And our brain is listening and recording. And this finally will do neural connection. Or we will take real events and do true reasonings. In that case, we record a functional thinking mode. But you may have noticed this. Many authors have talked about this. I remember Bourdieu, for example, he used to say, just if you tell yourself anything, doesn't matter if it is true, false, fictitious, but you just repeat it to yourself several times with security, finally you will believe about it. But not only believe, you will think it's true. So it means we can record anything in our neural connections, but it depends how we do it. We get a functional thinking mode or a dysfunctional one. The first case is helpful in our life. In the second one, creates mental problems. So we will continue in our timeline. So far, we have known about brain modes. We have placed where are the problems. And next, we will see a specific definition about meditation. So nowadays, there is not a consensus about what meditation is. When you read scientific papers doing research about meditation, you find results which are very, very different. For example, if they do electroencephalography, EEG, so to record the electricity activity of the brain, some author will say, oh, in meditation, it's mainly the low frequency waves that increases. Another group of researchers will say, no, it's the middle one. No, it's the faster waves that are produced in meditation. So it means there is not a consensus about what is meditation. And some authors, some scientists, they have pointed out this subject. So here, thanks to the brain modes, we will be able to define what meditation is in a physiological base. And we will talk about meditation practice and meditation state. So, in a way, meditation, we understood meditation like the time spaces, the time we sit down, close our eyes, and then what we do is to increase observing mode. It means we develop control attention. We increase perceiving mode. It means the sensory information arises more and more to our consciousness, so that the thinking mode decreases. Eventually, we have a very good observing mode. We will reach silence mode. And that's the meditation state. So meditation is a state, it's a physiological state. And one of the characteristics of this state is the presence of silence mode. That's important. So meditation practice, what we do is we increase observing and perceiving, and that's why many meditation practice start by guiding attention to the breathing. That's very easy to do. So like this, more sensory information comes to our consciousness. Also, we are guiding attention. We learn how to control attention. And what happens? Imagine our brain like a cake. So it's just one cake. Maybe the cake, all the cake is eaten by our thinking mode. But when we practice meditation, a piece of this cake goes to the observing mode. Another piece of this cake goes to the perceiving mode. So the portion of the thinking mode decreases. That's what we do in meditation practice. Okay. So now we'll talk a little bit about the observing mode, because it's the easiest one we can already use during our lives easily. It means a voluntary use or attention. And that's one of the first solutions to improve mental health. But it doesn't mean that we think about the thoughts. when we observe the thoughts, we witnessed them. We are not in a conversation with them, because if we do so, we get exhausted. Oh, thought come, we think about it, we have a conversation about it. No. Observing mode is to witness thought. So we decide if we pay attention to one thought or not. We have this freedom to choose. Oh, this thought is coming, it's interesting or not. So I don't put my attention on it. It's like we choose if we put light on a thought or not. And the good thing is that we don't pay attention to a thought, it gets diluted. Thought is only there if we put our attention on it. So that's one of the first solutions. So observing mode is the one that allows us to develop a functional thinking mode. We have this freedom to choose if we continue thinking in a way so that we will create neural connection that will be the path to this way of reasoning, or we say, no, I'm not interested at all, so we don't pay attention and do not create this neural path. Or if they are already there, but we stop paying attention, they get weakened, they weaken, they are not so strong. So the observing mode creates a space between the awareness of ourselves and the activity of the thinking mode. That's the first solution. And then in meditation state, meditation state is not only that we are sitting down, closed eyes. No, not at all. We can do like this, but also during the day, in silence mode, we can guide our attention. So we can feel without thinking, or we just enjoy a very nice part of ourselves. So meditation practice, observing mode. So, okay. So we can enjoy also meditation state while along the day, while doing our daily chores. Because beyond the organ of thoughts, existence continues. That's the solutions we are proposing are in this way. Just to realize thinking mode is just a small part of us, it's not all of us. We have the freedom to guide our attention. So as we focus on a thought or not, we can just enjoy other modes. For example, taste, perceiving mode. We don't need to think to enjoy the taste of a fruit or a smile. And the good example is the baby. Baby is smiling, and in the cerebral cortex, there are no neural connections which are the basis for the thinking mode. So, smiling and also dancing. When we are dancing, we are not thinking. We don't say to our body, move the hand like this, move yourself like this. No. We are just enjoying movement. So in our lives, sport or music we can listen without thinking, eating, a lot of things we can enjoy and we don't need to think. So we are proposing these solutions to develop observing modes, which is guiding attention freely, perceiving mode, feeling without thinking. And like this, we arrive to pure feelings, genuine feelings. They are not feelings adulterated by thinking mode. They are just innate feelings. So we enjoy this part of us. And acting mode, enjoy movement. So this is one example. This is written in a scientific paper by a neurosurgeon from India. So, present-day neurophysiology has stopped considering thought processes as the highest level of brain function. Es decir, that means thinking mode. For centuries, Eastern philosophers have known that there are many other workings of our brain that culminate in the state of thoughtless awareness, which means silence mode. And this state has a physiological basis. It exists, and in this state, for example, regeneration is easier because we are not putting obstacles. While we are not thinking, we are just enjoying movement, taste, enjoying beautiful. Our nervous system works autonomously in an easier way so that it regenerates. So in a way, we are observing thoughts, so we are helping to make changes, and then in silence mode, we help to establish these changes. So there is research about silence mode, but today we don't have much time and I don't want to tell many things. I want just essential points. But there are researches about it. In the last 4 years, I've been doing reviews on scientific papers, experiencing on myself, so that I wrote this book, Beyond Thoughts I Exist. And here you can find a lot of information, scientific papers, research. This book is free download every second day of each month. And also we can send you a PDF with some excerpts. But especially for today, it will be also a free download today and tomorrow. Today and tomorrow in UK. Well, in Australia, just today, because in Australia is already tomorrow, so the 9th. So the 9th will be available. You will get the link at the end, but also just typing my name in Amazon, you can get it. So now, most important thing is probably the silence mode is the full experience of living in the present moment. The power of now, which is so fashionable today. So this power of now, this enjoying present moment is silence mode. It's the silence mode. And the thing is that we said, oh, but how can I reach silence mode? And it's very good news about it. That's the main point we want to share with you today. So we are right to we are in the last point, solutions. We'll be talking that witnessing obstacles, we go beyond them, because just in a way, if we stop several thoughts, maybe we just stop the problems because the thoughts are creating the problems. No? So this is a group of solutions we've been given. And the most important one I want to say is that silence mode is share. Just as if you see baby smiling, you smile, you do nothing, but you just smile. Or if somebody's feeling great and you are in his company, you start feeling better. So our nervous system has a kind of mirror characteristic. It's kind of, we do nothing, but it just happened. Or just when we learn movement, someone is moving, doing something, and we learn just like copying it. So silence mode is share. It happens like this. And so this is the main solution we want to present today. This is the main point. So silence mode is shared in person, but also via internet. In the last year that we are using so much Zoom's internet, I have many experiences that it really works also through internet and also watching videos. For example, in my case and some other people also, I got my first experience in a meditation guided by Mataji. And I experienced this kind of be the best of you. But the next day, I remember I invited a friend and he didn't feel anything at all. So now, after done all this research and all these years, what happens is that it's shared through attention and desire. It means I have this, I want to give you as a gift. So I stretch my arms, my hands, and I give it to you. But if you don't approach your hands and you don't pick it up, it just falls down. So now we will share this silence mode, and to pick it up, you just need attention and desire, because we have our freedom. Even if a beautiful gift is there, we always have the freedom to get it or not. So the meditation we are going to do, we don't need to think, right? Because even for listening, we don't need to think. We just see if we have this desire to experience silence mode. And we just guide our attention in the present moment. So thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maria.
Invite now Ajit for meditation.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Maria, for leading us through this wonderful presentation and talking to us about mental health.